Every single time before it gets dark, this guy sprays alcohol all over his front door. As soon as he gets home, the first thing he does is clean his dog. Once he sees the sun is about to set, he immediately puts up these special steel plates to lock down the doors and windows. But even though there isn't a single light on in the house, he still doesn't feel safe. He sits in the bathtub, huddled up with his dog, clutching his rifle to his chest. That's the only time he feels any peace. To be honest, the guy has set up such heavy security because as soon as the night falls, the world outside doesn't belong to humans anymore. There are packs of terrifying zombies roaming the streets and causing total chaos. See, about 5 years ago in 2012, a virus caused absolute destruction. This virus killed off 90% of humans, while 9% turned into zombies. These zombies are terrified of sunlight. They only come out at night, and their sense of smell is incredibly sharp. Meanwhile, our main character, Will, survived this virus. That's because he's part of the less than 1% of people in the whole world who have strong antibodies. Will was flying down the deserted streets of New York in his Ford Mustang. He was chasing a deer right in the middle of the city. In this world where he's the only one left, food has become the most basic and vital necessity. But just as he was about to make his kill, a lioness suddenly lunged out and surrounded the deer before he could get to it. Seeing his prey getting snatched away, Will thinks about killing the lioness. Right then, a male lion and a cub come out too. Seeing the three of them reminds Will of his own family that he lost. He doesn't pull the trigger because he knows the lions are keeping the balance of nature. Before heading out to search for other survivors, he goes down to his underground medical lab to see if the mutant rats have gone back to normal after the treatment, but he still doesn't see any change. Actually, Will is a top-tier scientist. He developed a gene therapy based on a virus vaccine. Just when he thought today would be another disappointment, he noticed that one mutant rat didn't have the strength to attack anymore. This gave him a hint that the rat was slowly becoming normal again. If this experiment on the rat succeeds, he could turn those zombies back into normal humans too. During the day, Will leaves his house every morning at exactly 8 a.m. to search for survivors in zombie hideouts. Every day he drives to a video store. He swaps out the DVDs and asks the mannequins he set up how they're doing. Looking at this, nobody could imagine how lonely a person has to have to make friends with mannequins. He marks every place he visits on a map and gathers food and essential supplies from those spots. To find other survivors, he makes a radio call every day at exactly 12 p.m. and drives to the pier hoping for a miracle. But 3 whole years have passed. He never got a single response. To ease the loneliness, Will goes to the Enterprise aircraft carrier in the afternoon and plays golf standing on a plane. But during this, his dog spotted something weird. There was some movement in the distance. Will immediately grabs his rifle, looks through the scope, and sees it's a deer. Without wasting any time, he takes the dog and goes on the hunt. But then, a bad accident happens. While the deer is running around, it accidentally gets trapped in a closed-off area and runs inside a building in a panic. Maybe the dog hadn't had meat in a long time. That's why he charges into the building after it without any fear. Will tries to stop him. Will gets terrified, but for his dog, he has to go inside. It was pitch black in there. He couldn't see a thing. Even if I turned the video brightness all the way up, the vibe felt even scarier and more horrifying. At this moment, Will's heart was pounding. Even a mirror could scare him. While he was going upstairs looking for the dog, he suddenly heard a painful scream. He was scared that something bad happened to his dog, but he moved forward, trying to comfort himself. Following the bloodstains on the stairs, he saw a severed animal head at the turn. The relief was that when he moved forward, he realized it was a moose that had just been killed. But the fear before dying was clearly visible on the moose's face. Seeing this, Will raised his gun and started looking around. Then he saw another terrifying sight. In the blink of an eye, a pack of zombies was less than 5 meters away from him. Will had to gather courage for his dog and go deeper in. Finally, he finds his German shepherd under a table looking extremely scared. Just as he was about to move forward and call the dog's eyes fixed right on Will's back. Will feels something is wrong. As soon as he turned around, a horrific scene was right there. Will and his dog started running like crazy toward the exit, but eventually, they were caught by the zombies. But the good thing was that Will jumped out of a blacked-out window just in time, and as soon as the sunlight hit the zombie, it was immediately wounded and fell to the ground. Even though that experience just now scared Will, it gave him a lead on their hideout. To experiment on the zombies, Will set a trap outside. He took out a vial of his own blood and placed it at the building's door. Meanwhile, he hid outside. Seriously, in just 2 minutes and 30 seconds, a zombie got caught in the trap. And as the trap went off, a live zombie was forcibly pulled out, but then a scary-looking zombie suddenly came out with a roar full of rage. It was like he wanted to eat Will alive right then and there. He couldn't even understand why this zombie was so angry. After returning home, Will just stayed busy experimenting on the zombie. He had absolutely no clue that this female zombie was actually the wife of that zombie king who was just roaring. Because Will caught her, the war between zombies and humans totally kicked off. He was the only living person in this city, but he was shocked when he saw a mannequin's head suddenly move. Even scarier was that this mannequin, which was supposed to be at the door of the video store, somehow ended up miles away. Nobody understood how. In that moment, Will pulled out his gun and aimed it at the mannequin. He thought some human had placed the mannequin there so they could talk to Will, but he didn't see any human around because, in reality, it was a trap the zombie king set for revenge since Will had captured his wife. When Will goes to the mannequin and leans down to look at the water on the ground, suddenly the trap set by the zombie king activates and Will is left hanging in the air. Will passes out because of a head injury. When the sun is about to set, Will wakes up hearing his alarm clock. As soon as the sunlight fades away, the scary zombies come out. Then Will pulls a knife from his waist and frantically cuts the rope tied to his feet. But as soon as he falls to the ground, the knife stabs straight into his thigh. This made things even worse because the last rays of the setting sun were disappearing. The next second, Will sensed trouble. Scary noises started coming from the dark building in front of him. Just then, the zombie king showed up and let loose 3 vicious hunting dogs. But because of the remaining rays of the sun, they couldn't reach him. But as the sun sets a few minutes later, the zombie hunting dogs launch a crazed attack. Right now, our main character's leg is wounded. Between life and death, his only ray of hope is that German shepherd who has stood by him in this apocalypse. This German shepherd is his only companion. He's the reason he lives. He's terrified that his German shepherd might die. Come on, there was a pistol kept in the car. Will started crawling toward the car. But as the last rays of the sun disappeared, the hunting dog's attack intensified. Now he was running out of time. Enduring the pain, he gets up and moves forward on all fours. But after walking a few steps, he falls to the ground again. Exactly at that time, the vicious zombie dogs pounce on him. But Will stops their attack with his gun's bullets. But then, another zombie dog lunges at him. In no time, the vicious dog's sharp teeth were about to rip his cheek open when the German shepherd saves him just in time. But the worst thing was about to happen. The German shepherd had been bitten by the other dog in the fight just now. Will's heart sank because only Will has the antibodies, not the German shepherd. After returning home, Will immediately injected the antiviral medicine. He picked him up in his lap and started hoping the German shepherd would get better. He was smiling, trying to comfort himself that his dear companion would be okay. Then the German shepherd's body started losing fur. When he lifted the dog's eyelids, he saw symptoms of the disease in the corners of the eyes, and deadly signs appeared in the mouth too. Will's heart broke, but reality forced him to make a painful decision and, even though he didn't want to, Will choked the life out of his love with his strong palms. The love that had stayed by him through countless, lonely, dark nights. He was completely broken. But at this time, Will also realizes a strange problem. When a human infected by the virus becomes a zombie, they shouldn't have that much brains. Yet how could they set a trap exactly like humans? But when he looked at the seat next to him and there was no sign of Sam, Will couldn't take it anymore. So that night he took his car and sped straight toward the harbor and started attacking those zombies without thinking. Even though the zombies couldn't do much to him, since he was in the car, they just kept coming. They completely surrounded the car and started breaking the glass. Then some zombies climbed onto the lamps and dropped them directly onto the car. Will got trapped in the car. He saw the crowd moving toward him, so he quickly tried to get out of the car. But then, even more zombies arrived there. Then the leader of the zombies orders them to attack him. But before Will could do anything, the impact flipped the car right onto the edge, and the monster came in front of Will. Now, Will was exactly like a deer caught in a trap. Death was moving toward him moment by moment. But just then, a bright light appeared as if some human was coming toward him. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and passed out. When he woke up, he found himself lying in his house, and the wound on his leg was bandaged. He saw that there was a woman with a child near him. It had been 3 years since Will had seen a human. He didn't understand how to talk to people. After this, the woman started introducing herself. Anna told Will she had heard Will's news on the radio. She took the kid and came to New York and waited all day, but Will didn't show up. She was thinking of going to Vermont because it's a safe place for humans. Hearing this, anger showed on Will's face. He told Anna there's no safe place anywhere. All of America is destroyed. Anna wanted to argue with Will, but then Will shouted at them. He always believed he was the only one left alive on Earth. This put heavy mental pressure on him. In despair, Will became completely dependent on science and logic and focused all his attention on finding the cure for the virus. His whole life and hopes rested on this one goal. But Anna's news suddenly changed his thinking completely. She said there are other survivors elsewhere. This meant Will's long-term loneliness and hard work maybe hadn't gone to waste because a living human was standing in front of him now. Will struggled with his thoughts and emotions in his room for a long time. Finally, he accepted the reality and came out of the room. Anna tried to convince Will to go to the quarantine zone with them, but Will flat out refused. He said he wasn't going anywhere. After this, Anna reached Will's lab. When she saw that female zombie lying in the ice, she couldn't believe her eyes and asked Will if he could really fix this zombie. Then Anna saw pictures of hundreds of zombies on the wall. To make the vaccine, Will had used them like lab rats. As the sun's rays started disappearing, Will immediately closed all the doors and windows. Anna tried again to convince Will to go to the quarantine zone. But before Will could give any answer, he heard a loud commotion from outside. When he opened the small window and looked, he found a huge crowd of zombies moving toward his house. Will couldn't believe the scene in front of his eyes. He had always tried his best to hide his scent, but still, a massive crowd of zombies had found his hideout. They started moving toward them like crazy monsters. When the man asked carefully, he found out that yesterday when the woman saved him, she brought him to the safe house, but didn't take any precautions afterward. However, there was no time to blame her now. Will immediately turned on all the bright lights around. But the surprising thing was that the zombies who were usually scared of light had suddenly become very smart this time. After destroying all the streetlights, they started moving fast toward the man. A scared Will immediately started the other security system and activated all the surrounding bombs at once. When Will looked again, he found that all the zombies had been killed in the bomb blasts. But as he started calling out for Anna, there was no response. Then he went upstairs to find her. Right at that moment, a zombie attacks him. It grabs him tight and throws him straight from the floor onto a table. Helpless Will becomes a victim of brutality. Just as the zombie thinks Will is dead, it doesn't know that he was faking it until now. Taking his chance, he picks up a screwdriver and strikes the zombie, but this strike does no damage to it. The zombie picks him up and throws him down. Now, as the zombie king growls at him in anger, Will quickly picks up a rifle nearby, but the zombie runs away as if it knows how dangerous human weapons are. Will aims here and there, but the zombie hides directly behind the wall. So Will immediately aims at the gas cylinder and fires. The explosion sends the zombie flying outside, but still, it doesn't get hurt much. After which it climbs the stairs and disappears from there. When Will chases it, he finds it has jumped out of the window and run away. Will quickly goes inside the house to find the woman, but he sees that there's another zombie in the room, and the woman and child are hiding under a cabinet in fear. Will signaled them not to make any sound at all. He was preparing to finish the zombie with a pistol, but just then, the zombie spotted them. To keep both of them from getting hurt, Will was forced to gather courage and rush in. Then he fired bullets at it, but suddenly a loud noise was heard from outside. When Will opened the door, the zombie king was roaring at him. Actually, he had gone to call more people just now. Even scarier was that now their attack wasn't just vandalism, but with full planning. When Will saw the zombie leader outside the window, anxiety rose in his mind because the zombies didn't look like just animal-like creatures, but they had brains too. The three of them quickly ran to the basement. Then Will locked the main door tightly, and Anna took the kid and hid in the lab. But then she saw a miraculous sight and immediately called Will. Actually, the vaccine made by Will was showing its effect, and the zombie king's wife was slowly turning back into a human. But then the zombies broke in. Then Will quickly closed the glass door. Will wanted to tell these zombies that he can make all zombies human again. But at this time, in the zombies' eyes, Will himself was a terrifying zombie because he not only catches their companions from time to time to experiment on them, but this time he even kidnapped the Zombie King's wife. This made the whole zombie army boil with rage. As the Zombie King kept pushing against the glass door, the door was slowly breaking. At this moment, Will realized his situation. While he was looking around unconsciously, his eyes fell on a butterfly mark on the woman's neck. Seeing the butterfly, it felt like he understood everything. He immediately picks up a container and extracts serum from the Zombie King's wife's body because her blood was like a vaccine, meaning it could create antibodies. So he takes the serum and sends the woman and child into the safe underground path. And after handing the serum to the woman, he closes its gate. Then the Zombie King broke the glass. Right at that moment, Will pulled the pin of a grenade and charged straight toward the pack of zombies. And this is where this fantastic movie ends. Anyway, tell me how you like this movie. If you liked it, share it with your friends and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay? See you around.